Hello,
Hi.
Hey everybody.
we're here.
So to start out, I have an announcement that was near and dear to my heart.
That we're all very excited for.
I know. I really want your guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
So Disgaea 5, they announced some gameplay mechanics because they always do new gameplay stuff with Disgaea. And one of the really interesting things that they talked about was they are going to have streaming capability within the game. And the more viewers you have to your stream, the more experience and gold you will get in game.
So it'll increase your experience
Yes.
and gold.
And gold.
That's an interesting idea.
Very interesting. And I'm wondering if more games will start doing
Pick
that.
up
Because
on that.
streaming is definitely picking up. I mean,
Mhm.
it's becoming a major thing. And so I thought that was really interesting that they would change the gameplay experience by how many people were actually watching your stream.
That'd be interesting.
What do you guys think?
I think it's a cool idea.
I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, I'm never going to get the bonus because nobody watches my stream. But Disgaea itself is not a very streamed game. So I think that'll definitely get more exposure for the series.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because everything Ipponichi does is amazing to me. But
So I wonder how they're gonna do it. Is it gonna be a percentage based per how many viewers, or like after, let's say, 50 viewers, you get a certain bonus?
I don't know. I know they just announced that it's a thing. So it comes out in August.
And
It comes out in Japan in 2 weeks
'Kay.
on March 26th.
Oh, okay.
And then the import translated version comes out in August, I think 28th or something.
Which entry is this?
This is actually entry number 6,
Okay.
but it's number 5.
It's 5 here.
No, it's just numbered 5 because there's Disgaea 1, which is Laharl and Etna and Flan, and that's probably my favorite because of the humor. And then Disgaea 2 has Axel and Rosalind. Disgaea 3 is Mao. Disgaea 4 is Balatores and Fenric, which is probably my second favorite in the entry. And then they did one called Disgaea D2,
Okay.
which is a sequel to Disgaea 1, so it has Laharl and Etna and Flan in it. They all have them in it, but I mean, this said the story was centered around them.
Okay.
And then there's Disgaea 5.
Interesting.
So there's 6 games,
But
the one was a direct sequel. And there's offshoots, like there was the Can I Really Be the Hero, which was the preemie game, that was a side-scroller. There was a couple of other... Well, I mean, they had those games in, like, Makai Kingdom, or those characters in Makai Kingdom and stuff like that. So it's a fairly... in the Ipponichi catalog, they're pretty prominent characters. But as far as, like, actual games, there's been 6 in the series.
okay.
So I'm really excited. They said that it's going to be a PS4 exclusive because it was pushing the limits on the PS4 just
Wow.
in terms of what they've put into the
What
game,
they're doing with it.
which is a lot of fun because the whole point of Disgaea is to grind and level up and reincarnate and start at level 1 and grind and level up. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited. I think it's a really interesting mechanic that they would build streaming into the game, and I think we'll see that more and more,
Mm-hmm.
where there'll be rewards for people watching you play,
Very cool.
as opposed to like what Nintendo did for streamers and for people on YouTube and stuff. It's one and cut and everything. This is Ipponichi's actually rewarding you for sharing their games,
That's awesome.
where Nintendo
Said no.
isn't quite doing that. So anyway, that was my exciting news for the week.
Cool.
Also, I watched the trailer for The Flash with Mark Hamill as the Trickster.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see that?
No.
I didn't see it. I haven't been following The Flash, so.
Well, Mark Hamill played the Trickster in the original one in the 90s.
Oh, okay. So
And he's they're aging the character and he's reprising the role, and it
That's
looks
kinda
really
cool.
interesting. Which, Mark Hamill's most famous for
The Joker.
the Joker. Not Luke Skywalker.
That's right. He's done more. His body of work is more expansive as the Joker.
As the
As
Joker.
voicing the Joker.
Which,
Voice
and I
work.
think that's part of the reason why the Arkham games are so near and dear to my heart is that's the last time he played the Joker.
Well, and what's interesting about the Arkham games, again, we're going to be talking about the Arkham games. We always
Yeah, we seem to go back to them a
gravitate
lot.
towards
Well,
that.
that new one coming out. What is it?
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight.
So, which won't have the Joker, or
No.
will it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I hope not.
It
I hope
won't.
not.
It won't have the Joker.
There should be at least Easter eggs about the Joker somewhere.
I think, if anything, it'll be flashback sequences or hallucinations
Hallucinations
based on
for sure.
the Scarecrow's fear gas.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Which I've caught. I got, since we're on the subject of Batman, I got caught up on Gotham. I saw the Blind Fortune Teller episode, which
Yes,
is where
that was the last one I watched.
they teased the Joker.
But is it the Joker, or are they
Is it
just
the
teasing
Joker?
us? I'm not sure.
'Cause I don't think the Joker was like that.
I don't think so either.
But I mean, that guy was creepy.
And now, he was totally creepy. But look at the evidence. Now he's in the system.
Yeah,
Now he's been put away for murder.
yeah. We assume.
We assume. So if he is the Joker, it kind of goes against the Joker's character to have him.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and I'm fine with them.
It's
Playing
if they
with
do
the
it, if they
mythos,
do
that's
it,
fine.
it's interesting because that's what these shows are about. It's,
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have to stick strictly to canon. They can
I
kind of
did think it was interesting that they made him. Well, I mean, I guess they didn't really say how much older than Bruce he was.
But he seemed to be a bit older.
A little bit older.
But by how much?
Who knows?
Not sure.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting the way they did that.
Cool episode though.
And I loved the Dalmaka.
Yeah.
I thought that was so
Dr.
cool.
Dr. Dolmacher.
Dalmaka. I thought that was
Which
awesome.
We know
the way
who
they
he
did it.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
We know who he is.
I thought he was awesome.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, back to Arkham.
What I was going to say is, Mark Hamill voices the Joker in that, but going further than that, everything about those games is kind of a love letter to Batman the Animated Series.
Exactly.
All the voices are the same.
Right.
It just seems to be a darker, more realistic version of the Animated Series, in my opinion. And I think that's why I've always kind of liked it, other than it's a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
It's fun to play,
Really fun.
but it kind of has that extra little heart to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've got
exactly.
Kevin Conroy as Batman. You've got Mark Hamill as the Joker. And
Yeah.
I mean, it even has the same writers as the show did
Right.
that wrote the scripts and stuff. And that's cool.
Which they released. I don't know. Did you see this? Like, there's supposedly the M rating is
Yes.
coming because of there's a lot of blood in some scenes.
Yeah, I did read a little bit about that. It got the M rating because of gore and language, I think is what it said. Gore and...
I didn't read that. I just heard gore.
But yeah, it said something about like there's at least one scene where one character is torturing another character. So, but we have no idea what the context is or anything. But it is interesting for this kind of all the other Batman Arkham games have been T rated, and we talked about this too.
Yeah.
About what this will do for the series if it'll alienate some of the fan base.
I think. It may.
If
Well,
it does,
honestly,
I don't care.
I don't think
I'm
it's
kinda-
gonna be-
I'm kind of happy that it's going with
Yeah.
a more.
I think it's going to be
mature storyline.
a successful game no matter what.
Mhm.
So.
I never really listened to ratings. I was got the game eventually.
I guess we should introduce this person.
Sure. He keeps talking.
We kind of got in the middle of talking and didn't say anything.
So this is our friend Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Gamer John is behind the scenes today running the computer and production stuff.
Producing
And so we brought Roman on screen.
to fill the empty
To
chair.
fill the void.
Yes. Exactly.
So
So we are going to continue. Which do we need to update our topic?
yeah,
We're going to continue talking about our 50. I think we left off on 36.
what did we leave off with? I left off, didn't I? Was it Sands of
Yeah,
Time?
you had the last one. We talked
talking
about
about
Prince
Sands
of
of Time?
Persia. Was
Yeah.
that the last one?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll check.
Okay, let's go from there.
So I guess Roman, you're our guest. You're going
Mhm.
to tell us
Yeah, let's hear what some of
what
your
some of your favorite games are. No, not favorite games. Essential games that every gamer should experience.
games that create an experience.
This is 39.
Oh, we're on number 39. We got farther than we thought
Wow,
last
yeah.
time. It's awesome.
Hmm. You
39.
guys are putting this up because I haven't played as much as you guys have.
That's okay though, because we're just talking about experiences, so it's
Yeah.
not.
And you guys have touched on a lot of the games that I do remember playing as a kid. Like the Super Mario 3 was the pivotal game that I played a lot as a kid. That one and some weird Pinocchio spin-off on the NES. You ever played that one?
Pinocchio. huh?
Pinocchio on the NES. I'm not familiar, but I will be next week.
I think it was the NES, yeah.
Interesting.
Because, no, it was not the NES. It was the one with the controllers. It was kind of round around the edges in the bottom.
Super
The
Nintendo.
Super Nintendo?
There we go, Super Nintendo. I remember playing that often over the summer when I was like 3 years old.
Cool.
It wasn't really.
Pinocchio spin-off.
It was, I mean, since we're on the topic, this isn't on my list, but the Aladdin game for the Super Nintendo. Did you play it?
I did,
Did you play it?
but I'm just going to throw it out here. I think the Genesis version
Of course.
of Aladdin is a better game. But they're different. They're completely different
Yeah.
games, which is interesting.
Yeah,
You know, and I think that's kind of how it was back in those days during the
they made different.
height of the console wars. You know, 'Cause
Yeah.
even though they carried the same name and they're both like Disney games,
How much different? I
basically,
mean, it wasn't a platformer game.
it was a platformer, but like the level layout, a lot of stuff was different. I mean,
Really?
level progression, even like the basic motor. I think in the Super Nintendo you threw apples, right?
Yeah.
At your enemies. In this one, you could use your sword.
Oh, really?
Like that was your main mode of attack.
Interesting.
You use your sword. So
That was a really well done game.
a lot of those games were, you know, back in that era. I know there's the Lion King game
That was a lot of fun too.
that came out. There was Castle of Illusion. You know Mickey Mouse, Castle of Illusion.
No,
Yeah.
There was
that almost made my list. Almost.
It's a good game, and they just re-released that for
They
PlayStation
did,
4.
and it looks awesome.
And I think it was a free game at one
It-
point.
well,
on PS
it was
Plus.
PS Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it for my son to play, and the thing I loved about it was it included the retro version and the updated version, so
Which was
I
very cool.
got to play both. It was a lot of fun.
But that was a good era for Disney type games. There were a few that were kind of crappy. I remember the Jungle Book was kind of a crappy game.
Yeah,
It wasn't fun to play.
and that weird Beauty and the Beast game.
Yeah,
That was weird
that was weird. The standouts though were Aladdin,
Lion King.
I think.
for sure.
So.
Anyway, you brought.
Oh, I'm going
Disney
to bring up
games.
something since we're talking about these old Disney games. DuckTales. We love DuckTales.
Who doesn't love that
Did
game?
you hear the news on DuckTales?
Yeah, Netflix is making a new series.
They're making a new series.
and they're doing Inspector Gadget.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
I
going to
didn't
do an
hear that
Inspector
one.
Gadget one too.
So we'll see how those play out.
Kind of cool. Although they're not coming out until like 2018.
Yeah.
It's like a long time away.
Yeah, it's
Seemed like a long time away, but yeah, I'm excited.
See, I'm really liking this. Like Netflix, they're doing because the game's so popular, they can actually fund it. That they're actually picking up shows that ended in an off way,
well they
and they're
like
doing
with
it,
Arrested Development.
and they're doing what the fans want, and they're finishing the production and trying to get a finale that everyone can actually sit down and relax with.
Right.
I think and I think the first one that they really did that with was the 4th season of Arrested Development.
Right. Yeah. It would be interesting for them to bring back Firefly, but I don't think they will.
There's been talk about it.
Yeah, but all of the stars have too many different commitments
Yeah,
and stuff.
okay.
I don't know that it would happen.
What about X-Files? Is that a thing? Is that going forward?
I don't know.
Because I remember hearing a while back. I don't know what.
In
if
other
it was
news,
Netflix or anything.
Gamer John will be happy to know. Maybe he already knows that Descent reboot is getting put on Kickstarter.
Ooh.
Did you hear that already?
No. I'll
Yes.
have to look that up.
They are.
Smile on his face.
They are doing a Descent Kickstarter remake reboot. Reboot
cool.
is what they
A
call it.
reboot.
So that should be interesting.
Very cool.
Anyway, again, we just got on a tangent with
Yeah.
Roman. Roman,
Sorry,
what's your,
Roman. Back to
what's
you.
your first game experience that you want to talk about with us?
First game experience.
Go with your heart.
Star Fox. The
Nice.
64.
Nice.
Star
Dude, we
Fox
we
64.
talked about Star Fox. It's on our
It's
list.
on our list.
Oh, it is.
Cool.
What did you? Well, I mean, what do you remember about it?
I know it kind of not Easter eggs, but like it's like little side missions they had to do to instead of staying going on the right side, breaking off and going out to the left planets, like going to the underwater planet.
Oh, okay.
Like that was to me as a kid that blew my mind because I didn't know that. I just ran upon it out of luck. Just aim for one thing. Like on the first level when they're attacking the spaceship, you had to kill all the humanoid robots so you can go to the next planet to the left side instead of going to the right. There's little Easter eggs like that that kind of guide your way through it, and then
It's like hidden paths.
and on the final level, you have two different ways to go from the right side to the left side, and that changed the whole storyline. On the right side, your dad died. On the left side, you could save your dad.
Really?
I never played.
I didn't play a lot of Star Fox. I've seen people play it. I had a roommate that was really into it, but
I have it
no,
on
but
my
that's cool.
64
I
at
like
home.
stuff like it. So it offered like branching paths and
Bashing paths.
kind of hidden routes.
Yeah, instead of just being in the spaceship, there was a tank level. There's a submarine level.
Cool.
But the hardest part was trying to get to there. So
You had to fulfill certain requirements to open them up.
mm-hmm. You had to kill certain enemies, or you had to go certain under like. And on the first mission, you had to go through a waterfall to go into a different planet. And you can't see it. I just went into it by accident one time. I was hanging to the right side and just flew right through. And you fought an entirely different boss, not even the same boss.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Nice.
I mean, it has a lot of fans.
It does.
I'm
Huge fan base.
not one of them.
Well, they even mentioned it when they were doing the. They're doing Miyamoto and Aonuma were kind of showing off the new Zelda Wii U, and in passing they mentioned a new Star Fox in the making. That was a while ago. That was like a D3 though. That was a while ago. So but I just know
Might
eventually
happen.
there will be a new one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people like it.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Is
There
this
it
the
is.
level
Right,
you're
yeah.
talking about?
This is the first level. It's when you get past the city. There's a little waterfall. I'm not sure if you can pull a video up of it. And like you can go straight because you getting shot at from like there's a bunch of enemies, and if you keep going straight, you get to the average boss.
So this is the Wii U version.
So yeah. Okay, so this is a screenshot of.
I was gonna say
The
for
Wii
an
U.
N64 game, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was gonna be like, wow, it looks a lot better than I remember.
It looks less blocky than I
Yeah,
remember.
for sure. But I
Okay.
mean, I think Star Fox has always had that kind of blocky
Feel.
style to it because
Yeah.
it's trying to stay true to its roots and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of part of its charm.
Definitely
Very cool.
interesting. Colt, you want to do the next game?
Sure. I'm going to talk about Eternal Darkness. You played that?
I haven't played
It was a GameCube game. It was one of
Okay.
the only
I never had a GameCube, so that would explain
third-party
why I didn't have
GameCube
it.
games that was an M-rated game. It was a horror title. The full title was Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem, and it had it kind of followed a lot of the Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah, this is number 39.
Yeah. Okay. It kind of, and the main idea of the story was there's this book that was like the Tome of Evil or something like that. But like your character, so
Necronomicon.
yeah, it was kind of that same idea. I mean, it was bound in human skin and stuff like that, but it was linked
Total ripoff from
Yeah, but
Evil Dead.
but a lot of stuff. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, that's where the Evil Dead analogy ends. It wasn't in a cabin.
Right,
It wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't zombies and stuff like that, but it was like eldritch type
Right.
Okay.
monsters and stuff. But what was cool about it is you didn't play as one character. Like the game itself spanned centuries of time. So at one point you play as a Roman centurion, at another point you play as a harem girl.
Mm-hmm.
You play in the modern, in the modern era. You played as a World War II soldier. You played as a page in medieval times. So it was a very cool game. Yeah. Here's some
interesting.
screenshots of it. But what was even cooler is it had what was called a sanity meter. So as your character was playing, and you would confront monsters and stuff, your sanity level would drop. And if it got to a certain point, things would start happening. And for instance, like your character's head would fall off, and then you'd snap back into reality. So it would do things to mess with your head, but it would even go so far as to mess with you as the gamer. Like it would bring up a false screen that would say that your memory card had been corrupted and that it was rebooting the game,
Oh, okay.
and you think that something was wrong. Yeah, see, it would
Right.
give you the blue screen of death and stuff like that. It was a really cool idea, and it just played into that whole thing about what was going on in the game.
Right.
So it was a horror game, but it was kind of innovative for its time.
So
and how
it kind
how
of broke
messed
down
with you.
the fourth wall.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it definitely broke down the fourth wall in a lot of ways,
Interesting.
which was really cool. It was produced by Silicon Knights, which is now pretty much defunct, I think. But at one point there was a Kickstarter to try to get a sequel going, but I think that failed. So I don't know what the future of the series is, if you can call it a series, because there's one game. But
Right.
it was
Franchise, at least.
yeah, franchise. But it was a cool game. It had some cool ideas. It dealt with the Cthulhu mythos quite a bit, and had that really cool sanity meter.
It surprises me how prominent H.P. Lovecraft stuff is in
It
games. It's it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's mine for number 39. So now we're on 40, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Sure.
I'm going to talk about the game that got me into strategy games. I'd never played a game like this prior. I don't think we've talked about it. Have we talked about this game?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
I don't think, no, we haven't
Nope.
talked about that.
Have you guys played it?
Nope.
You've played it.
I played it a little bit.
Have you beat it?
No, I didn't like it. I played it. I didn't like it, so I stopped playing it.
Final Fantasy Tactics, precursor to Disgaea. I mean, they're very similar gameplay.
Okay.
It's hurt my heart.
I'm sorry, Lance. I'm just trying to be honest.
Can't get over it. I don't remember what I was going to say. No, I love this game. I sunk a ton of time into Final Fantasy Tactics. Gamer John, have you ever played Final Fantasy Tactics? Have you heard of it?
I've watched it.
You've watched it.
I've watched it being played, but I've never played it myself.
So, are you familiar with the story?
More of the gameplay. A little
So
bit.
this is the introduction. This is the first game that was set in Ivalice,
Okay.
which is where Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy XII
Okay.
were both set in Ivalice, as was the two follow-up games, Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced and Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2, which came out for the DS. Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced came out for the Game Boy Advanced. And then Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 came out for the DS. Those games weren't as good as the original. Was on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a strategy game, like kind of like Fire Emblem a bit, or I'm trying to think of another game that you guys would know that's like you have units on a map and you move them around, similar to like Risk, kind of.
Okay.
But not really. It was a lot of fun, and the story was incredibly in depth. Was crazy. It involved religion and politics, and like kind of War of the Roses, very similar to that whole time period of history. It had the job system from Final Fantasy. The really cool thing was that you could carry your traits over. So if you leveled up a knight to level 99 and you learned his awesome attack, and then you decided to become a mage, you could still bring the skills that you had learned as a knight over. So you created these incredibly overpowered characters in the game. An amazing cast of characters. Ramza, I call him Ramza, but someone might correct me on his name, and Delita are the two main characters of that game. It's just absolutely fascinating because it deals with a lot of really advanced things that I hadn't seen in a game. They kind of did a really similar story in Final Fantasy XII with the politics and religion and the Espers and all of that stuff. But Final Fantasy Tactics was the game that really got me into strategy RPGs. And then I met Disgaea on the PlayStation 2, which is Final Fantasy Tactics on freaking steroids. And that is why I love Disgaea, is because it reminds me so much of Tactics.
Cool.
Well, since talking about Final Fantasy, do you know why it's called Final Fantasy?
Yeah, because it was going to be the last game that the guy made.
Yeah.
And it was his final chance to actually make a game.
It was his swan song.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then it sold like
And it
Bajillion.
exploded.
gangbusters.
So
Although of all the Final Fantasies, I have to say Final Fantasy 1, I mean, I love it. I played it on the original Nintendo.
Right.
It is a great, great game. It's not my favorite of the Final Fantasy series. I think they definitely improved on it.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 6, if anybody wanted to know. That's
I think
the best
I
Final
think-
Fantasy
I
game.
think we've talked about that
We
quite a bit.
mentioned it in passing, but I don't think we've actually...
discussed the
discussed
merits
it.
of the game.
Because we haven't talked about Kefka,
Okay.
and we haven't talked about like Shadow and Locke and all those guys. So I know we've mentioned it in passing, but I don't think we've actually done a full
I just know you said a
discussion.
couple of times on here that it is your favorite. And
It is.
And I know it's your favorite. And so
Yeah. It is my favorite. We will talk about it.
We'll get to it eventually.
We will. I have more time to talk about that game because I can talk about it for a while.
Okay.
So.
Very cool.
Yes.
Roman, you up?
Okay, this is gonna be an FPS shooter, and you're not gonna like it, Lance.
That's fine. That's
But-
why we have
It's
you.
probably been said.
It probably has been said, but the Halo series.
Oh, yeah, we don't like you.
No, you guys don't like it, but
We've talked about Halo, haven't we?
We talked about it a little bit. I know we didn't.
Which
mention
Halo?
it for the
Which Halo
list.
specifically?
all of them.
Nope. You got to pick one.
Okay, the one that I played the most was Halo 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Good move. Halo 2 is the game that I would agree with.
Because before that, I didn't really have much of a console. I had my 64,
Mhm.
but I remember opening and getting Xbox on Christmas Day, and that just blew my mind because my cousin let me borrow Halo, the first one,
Can we call it what it is?
the Halo box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's what made the Xbox was the Halo. It's called the Halo box for a reason.
We wouldn't have Xbox around if it wasn't for Halo. I mean,
And I just
But, I mean, what other must-play game is there on the Xbox?
Conquer Live and Reloaded, which was a terrible remake of Conquer's Bad Fur Day on the N64. You asked.
You're right, I did. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to know. Anyway, keep talking.
anyway, so I didn't really get into gaming until I got my Xbox, and then when I got Halo 2, because I got it the week it came out, my parents got it for me for my birthday. And it just completely blew my mind because the dual wielding was a new concept. It just popped. And what really made me sad
I'm sitting there playing Halo, and all of a sudden, mind exploded.
Explosions.
explosions. And what I really liked about it was the dual wielding and the needlers, because they took that off automatically after that.
Mhm.
Halo 3, it never came back again. And what I liked right now with the new Xbox One, they did the remastering of all the Halos, which is
The
sweet.
Master Chief Collection.
The
Right?
Master Chief Collection. Is that
Which had a lot of problems in it.
At first it did.
A lot of launch
but they
problems.
got onto it real quick. They had most of the problems ironed out within
What
the first
game
week.
doesn't launch without problems?
Right. I mean, that's kind of
It
the
seems like
the standard practice now,
Yeah.
which is really annoying.
it is very annoying.
Anyway,
One good feature on the Master Chief Collection is that you can play when the new graphics, or you can do an active button. You can switch actively right back to the old graphics,
that's kind of cool.
so you can enjoy it wherever way you want to.
Cool. You know, my experience with Halo is Halo 2. I worked for a company. We drove around. We cleaned carpets all over the state, and a little bit into Oregon too. So we were all over. But one of my coworkers, he'd bring his Xbox with him, and so when we were in the hotel and stuff, we'd hook it up to the hotel TV and play Halo 2. And it was just funny because he was really gung ho about it, and so he would freak out if he lost and stuff, and he'd accuse us of
Cheating.
not of cheating, but of screen peeking. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, so
Oh.
that's my
Fine.
experience with Halo 2.
So I
It's
guess,
a decently fun game. Would I go out and buy it? I don't think so.
so I'm actually the only reason I would buy an Xbox One is for the new Halo 5 that's coming out.
Really,
Have you guys heard about anything about it?
I know it's coming out, but because I'm not a Halo fan, I don't really.
They're actually
pay
switching
attention.
instead of because in Halo 2 you can play it as the Arbiter and the Master Chief. Well, it's kind of the same thing, and this one you're playing as a whole new Spartan called Locke. Spartan Locke, and you're actually hunting down Master Chief, going through his past achievements of the past games, working in conjunction with Arbiter.
That's
And the
kind of a
whole
cool idea.
story is so confusing me because the Forerunner guy from Halo 4 is still alive technically in the comics, so they don't know if he's gonna make an appearance. Master Chief, his helmet's cracked, so they're wondering if he went through a mental breakdown after Cortana disappeared, if he was trying to revive her, or he committed some kind of crime and now they're trying to hunt him down.
So what's the significance of the cracked helmet? You'll have to fill me in.
Well, in the
It
Halo
just-
comic,
Is it just
signifies
symbolic?
mental
Is it
disability.
symbolic?
and in the Halo
Or is
comic
it-
it's when the Didact, the Forerunner, come back and he uppercutted Master Chief and actually broke his helmet.
Can I tell you
Okay.
something? Don't hate me, but none of these words mean anything to me.
That's okay, don't worry.
So I guess what I'm asking is, other than them being symbolic of his helmet cracking, does a cracked helmet have any significance to the Spartans? Do they need to have their helmets
He's
intact?
totally gonna die because his helmet's cracked.
That's what I'm like. Is
See-
it tied into the mythos of the game? These helmets.
The helmets, yeah, they're always in the game. Like, if you guys ever played Halo Reach, at the end of once you pass the game, he takes off his helmet, and after you die in the cutscene, it just shows a helmet on the floor. Also, in the entrance of the game, it's the same helmet, back and forth. whatever one you created. Helmets are really pivotal because you never really cut the face of Master Chief until Halo 4. If you passed it on, was it Legendary?
You got to see his face.
You got to see his from his right here.
You saw his Batman face.
His Batman face. That was about it. You just saw his eyes, and actually a lot of people were actually angry about that because they said it ruined the mystery, that they ruined the people's imagination.
They ruined the mystery by showing his chin.
His eyes.
Oh, okay, I see.
And so, which really caught me off guard because I've always wondered what his face was.
Yeah. But it kind of takes away from the stoic hero. You know, if you see his face and hear him talk and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it seems to me like the cracked helmet that you're talking about is more of a symbolic sense of him having a mental break.
Yeah.
Not necessarily tying into, like, their helmets aren't tied to their life force or their sanity or anything like that. There's no hard, like, their helmets aren't hard driven into their psyche.
The only thing that's with the helmet was that's where they put the slot for the AIs, like Cortana.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be a conjunction with that if you think about it more deeply.
On a related note, they really sold Destiny as like the evolution of Halo.
Sort of, yeah.
Because it's Bungie.
Kind of a play on Halo.
Wait, did we have someone?
You said, "Hey guys, hello."
Hey, Joe Fro64. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
We're talking about Halo at the moment.
And Destiny.
Specifically Halo 2, but now we're moving on.
At the very moment.
At the very moment, yes.
Is this live right now? Yes.
Yeah, we're totally live, bro.
Very cool.
Last time I checked.
Not for long. Don't be comfortable. So we were talking about Destiny.
Yeah. So I bought Destiny because my friends were like, "You've got to play Destiny.
It's so amazing.
So awesome.
Which it's not.
I didn't think so.
It felt like Halo.
It felt exactly like Halo.
Except it
And
was
I didn't
more
like Halo.
claustrophobic than
Yeah.
Halo was.
Actually, I didn't think it felt like Halo.
I thought
come on.
it felt
You're running
a
around
lot like
shooting
Halo.
things with a rechargeable health meter.
Okay, in that
Yeah.
sense, yes. But other than that, it just
I mean, there was kind of like maybe
Well, you
a
could jump.
little
You could
bit
jump
of
into
an
a ship
RPG.
and fly around, and you had your ghost
Yeah, there was like
that followed you.
an RPG element to it where you were
Yeah.
playing the different classes. But honestly,
It felt like
the
Halo.
different
with-
classes, you run around and shoot bullets at things.
Yeah,
I didn't really feel like there was a much difference between the two. Or the three. Was there? There was three, right?
I think so. The three
Yeah.
different classes.
Yeah. I didn't really feel like there was any... Like, where that game really shined was with its weapons and its customization with the weapons. I thought that it was really innovative. But was it innovative enough for me to continue playing the game? No.
Yeah,
I
it
got
just
to
didn't feel
level 10 and I was like, I
You know,
just
it-
can't
yeah,
force
it-
myself
it-
to do it anymore.
And this is totally my opinion. You know, it didn't feel.
Joe Fro agrees with me. Destiny sucks.
You know, I understand that it's got a fan base. I understand
Yeah.
why people would like it, but to me, it felt like Halo with a leveling system, and that's really what
it
it boils down to me.
Although, that said, I
I'm
haven't played it since they've released updates or they've done like the raids and they've done like stuff like that.
And I'm
So
sure,
I'm sure
it's
it's
got
fun.
plenty of merits.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sure it's a fun way to kill time if you've got people to play with. But me, where 90% of my gaming career is solo, I didn't. That game was a waste of $59 to me.
because the only reason I got PS4 was for Destiny. I picked up the Destiny PS4 White Edition,
the Glacier.
the Glacier. It looks nice.
This is gonna sound really bad, but I bought my PS4 because they announced Disgaea 5 for the PS4, and I'm like, I'm gonna have one of these before that game comes out. So I bought it 2 years in advance.
I bought my PS4 because they announced Uncharted 4.
Well,
Finally.
see,
It's not out yet, but I was like, well,
I'm
it
buying
will be.
one.
That was
It
what
will
I'm
be.
buying.
one.
It should come
it
out.
will be, and I don't want to spend $400 on that day, so I'm
Exactly.
going to spend $350 today and
Exactly.
$50 on when the game comes out, all the way.
Yep.
For sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, Halo, I think it's a landmark game. I think it's a game that everybody should at least experience once.
yeah.
But is it a game that I'm going to go back to?
Yeah, I'll give it its accolades. I mean, it
Yeah.
deserves to be praised because of what it did at the time and what I don't know what it continues to innovate, but at the time it was a very innovative title.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it comes down to. Will I go back to play it? Probably not. But that's
Yeah,
just
it
because of my
doesn't
personal
have-
preferences.
It doesn't have the retainability for me. So
I'm not saying it's a
No.
bad choice.
Yeah.
You know,
To each their own.
I'm glad you brought it up because I think it needs to be mentioned.
So Joe Fro asked, PS4 or Xbox One?
Okay.
And I guess before I can answer that question, I need to know what type of gamer you are.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
And what console are your friends on mostly? Also,
You know, I kind of disagree with you a little bit because all of my friends have an Xbox One, but the games that I want to play are all single player games. So, I mean, if you're more of an RPG guy, then what console your friends have, that is not going to influence you so much.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what type of gamer you are, what kind of games you play.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I don't play a lot of shooters, and so the Halo series is automatically out. So
Or Xbox One for me is out. I don't play shooters, and
Yeah.
it seems like almost every game for
You
Xbox
know.
One is a shooter game.
on top of that, I love the Uncharted series.
yep,
It's a
I
PS4.
agree with that.
It's a PlayStation exclusive.
But what also like it depends because the reason I got a PS4 instead of an Xbox One this time around was because the PS4 it outperforms Xbox One. The GPU is twice the size, even though it's the same one. They made it bigger. It hardware wise, it's better. So you gotta wait later because they're making the new Sims come out soon to get a better verdict afterwards. Because
Who cares about The Sims?
I don't.
I don't.
what Sims?
Did you say
Oh,
new
you're
Sims was
this
coming
new
out?
Sims, or you're talking about
Slims.
Oh, Slims.
Slims.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're revamping the PS4 and the Xbox One. So if you were to buy one, I say wait till those come out. We get one right now. I go with the PS4 because it's a better workhorse.
And honestly, I mean, there's a lot of reasons of going into buying a PS4, right?
Mhm.
I love the game library that they have.
Right.
You can switch the hard drive for a bigger one without any problem. It's just a PC hard drive.
You know, so Joe Vance brought up a good thing. He's talking about backwards compatibility. I thought it would be a deal breaker for me because the PS4 is not backwards compatible. Right? You can stream PS3 games.
Let's quickly say hello to Spiritual Midnight.
Jello. I thought
Hey,
they said
Spiritual
midget for a while.
Midnight,
They just jumped on. So, welcome.
thank you for joining us. We're talking about PS4 versus Xbox One.
And in general, if you like what you hear, hit the follow button.
Yes.
We
Thank you.
welcome more
Thank you, Cole.
followers.
We always want more followers. So Joe Vans in chat said, backwards compatibility. I thought it was going to be a deal breaker for me for the PS4, but I think that what they do with PlayStation Plus is above and beyond what Xbox does with Xbox Gold.
Mhm.
That it's really not that big of a deal for me. Every month I get 4 new games that I can experience and play, like the Swapper. Man, that game was awesome.
That was a sweet game.
I was like, it was free. I didn't have to play it. Spiritual Midnight won an Xbox One on raffle.
Oh, and
Hey.
Advanced Warfare Edition. That one, that's a sweet console.
That's awesome, dude.
That looks nice, actually.
If you can get it
Congrats to
free,
you.
go for it.
Go for it. For
I
sure.
have nothing against free consoles.
Neither do I. So, backwards compatibility, really, it's not that big of a deal to me because I still have my PS3 plugged in,
Mhm.
and it's not backwards compatible with my PS2. So, I don't know. I wouldn't make a decision based on which console I'm going to buy as to whether or not it'll play the previous generation games.
Right. Yeah, because I still use my old
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
Exactly.
But PlayStation came out with I can't remember what the service is called, but like $10 a month, you can play the older PS3. and
PlayStation
PS2.
Now.
Hey,
Yeah,
Joe
there you
Fro
go.
followed.
All right.
Hey.
Thanks, Joe Fro.
Thanks, Joe Fro. I love
Joe
saying
Fro.
your name.
That's a fun
Joe
name
Fro.
to say.
Joe Fro
Let's all say it together.
64.
Joe Fro!
We should make that whenever anyone follows. We just shout out their name.
I like it.
In
Make
harmony.
a note.
Yes. Make a note. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I mean, but see, like even you, Cole. I mean, you have your old systems all sitting here
I've got all my
plugged in and
Nintendos,
everything,
all my
and
PlayStations.
I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Backwards compatibility
I don't.
isn't
It's
that
not.
big of a deal.
I mean, it's nice to have, but like I was talking to you the other day about the Wii U. Yeah, it's backwards compatible, but I still have my Wii
exactly,
hooked up.
exactly.
I mean,
So why is it a big deal?
it's not.
HDMI.
So
Well,
Uh-huh.
true, but it does upscale, but I don't think it's a deal breaker.
To me, if the game's good enough that I would think about wanting to play it with an updated version, then that means the game was good enough initially, and I'm fine going back and playing it. I don't need remasters. I don't need HD remasters.
Exactly.
I still prefer Shadow of the Colossus on my PS2 over the HD remaster. So, if the game works and is fun to play, regardless of what system you're on, that's what matters to me. And so yeah, backwards compatibility. It's a nice whistle and bell, but that's all it is. It's not a decision maker for me.
Yeah.
Okay, Spiritual Midnight just said, well, with Xbox you can have 1 year for $50, then paying $5 a month, or maybe they might lower the price on the year.
Right on. I mean, that puts it on par with
PlayStation?
PlayStation. How I don't even know how much I play for PlayStation.
It's
How much is it?
$50 because
it's 50 for a
Xbox
year.
used to be $60.
It's $50 for a year.
That's
So,
not bad.
Yeah, that's a good price.
But you also have to look at what did they give you with Xbox Gold, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, Xbox Gold.
So what do they give you? Do you know?
Me? Well,
They give you one free game, don't they?
no, it's more. I think it's more than one free game. If I remember correctly, it's like 2 or 3.
You know, I don't know. PlayStation Plus to me, I have a Vita,
Right.
so I get free games for my Vita. I have a PlayStation 3, so I get free games for my PlayStation 3. And,
Letting chat on fire. I see.
And I have a PlayStation 4, so I get games. I get games on every single
We
system.
get it, Jovan. You like PC?
Sheesh.
I like PC too. That's my main gaming platform.
Well, it is mine too, but still, I love console games. I mean, something about sitting down with a controller
I prefer
and playing.
consoles, so.
I like mods. I like Skyrim. You know, Skyrim was an amazing game. It got even better with all the mods and everything. So, I think
No,
So in Australia, the PS4 costs $550. So I guess it also depends on where you're at, you know.
yeah, that's true.
like
So,
Brazil, the PS4 costs $1,500 American.
so is Jofro? Are you from Australia? Do you have an Aussie in our midst?
I love it.
That'd be sweet.
International audience.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So the PS4 comes with. It kind of changes somewhat depending on the games they're giving you, but at least 2 free games for each version of their console. So you get 2 PlayStation 4, sometimes 3, 2 for the PlayStation 3, and 2 for the Vita. So, you know, I am a Sony fanboy. I have every one of their consoles that they've ever made. And, you know, I would not trade the PS4 because I think they have a much stronger RPG library, which is the type of gamer that I am. They have a much stronger strategy. I mean, Disgaea is a PlayStation exclusive. Although they did release it for the DS.
Cool. Jofro is Australian. Very
Sweet.
cool.
They released a version of Disgaea for the DS, which is interesting. And I bought it, and it was fun. But for the most part, it is a PlayStation
It's a Sony.
exclusive. And so, overall, I guess you have to look at the game library and make the decision of, do they have the type of games that I want to play? Honestly, I think there's more must-play games on the PlayStation 4 than there are on the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only game that I was tempted and thought it would kind of be cool to have an Xbox One for was Killer Instinct.
Right.
You know, but that didn't last very long. You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Killer Instinct's great, but
yeah,
I've got Mortal Kombat to worry about next month.
Exactly.
So
I want to come out. It'll be so much fun. Waste so many hours.
You know, so let's talk about the PC thing since Joe Vans won't let it go. Is it Joe Vans? Joe Evans? Joe?
Is it like just J.O. Joe Evans?
Who knows?
There we go, Joe Evans.
Because that's how I keep reading it, and I don't know if it's that or if it's Joe Vans. Or is it Joe Van and the S is silent? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We're going to call him Joe Vans because I like Vans shoes.
Me too.
And I'm assuming he's a Vans guy. So it's just Joe. He happens to wear Vans.
So
That's
Joe
Joe
Vans.
Vans.
Joe Vans.
Spiritual Midnight just
Joe
said
Vans.
Wolfenstein: The New Order on Xbox is a good one, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, you know.
We did.
I'm
The blood. Well, what was it?
the
Old
old
blood.
Old Blood.
You know, I'm a huge Wolfenstein fan. Back. In
But
the
that's not
Wolfenstein
an
3D
exclusive.
But it's not exclusive. Yeah, it's on PS. It's on the PS4 as well. You know, and so it's Joe. PC is the best fans. Cool. Yeah, you know, it's not an exclusive game to the Xbox One. It's available on PS4 and
PC.
And PC.
PC. And I think there was just a recent report that I just read that it was saying that multi-platform games that are released on both systems perform better on the PS4 than they do on the Xbox One. That there's more, the frame rate and stuff is better on the PS4 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the output's higher.
Yeah, hardware wise, it's better. I think the PS4, when it first came out, when it barely came out, PS4 was at 900p and the Xbox One was at 720.
Yeah. And so I think, just going back to it, I think what it boils down to is what kind of games you prefer to play, because multi-platform games don't really count because they're on both systems. So what exclusives are you interested in, and what kind of a gamer are you? I tend to, maybe it's stereotyping, but I tend to think more shooter type games show up on Xbox.
Yeah,
and they're more geared toward that system.
I agree.
I don't play shooters a lot, so I've never really had an interest in Xbox consoles.
And so my primarily genre shooters. So
yeah, I think that's just what it boils down to. At the end of the day, it's what do you have fun playing, not what is the better system.
Yes.
What do you have fun playing?
As long as it's a PlayStation 4.
Right.
And if you can afford it, why not get all of them?
Exactly. In a good world, you have.
If you have if you have a disposable income and are single and have no wife and children to worry about, buy them both.
Oh, they can eat ramen noodles.
Yes. Mac and cheese. They have
Okay.
ramen noodles in Australia?
I don't know. They have them in Canada.
They should.
That's a good question,
They have,
Joe
they have
Fro.
them, they have them in Mexico.
So we've
surprisingly.
got
Mexico?
Joe
Yeah.
Fro and we've got Joe Vans.
Mm.
We need one. We should have.
I think we
another
need to have
one.
like a death match between Joe Fro and Joe Vans.
Yeah, like celebrity death match, but
Yeah.
it'll just be Joe death match.
Wait,
Yeah, Twitch viewer death match.
was it last year? No, not last year. Last week, it was the anniversary of the creator who made instant ramen noodles. It was like 100th birthday or something, 80th or 100th birthday. They did a whole Google banner for it.
Maybe we should ban Joe Vans.
Maybe we should.
Talking about banning our viewers.
Joe Vans.
How dare you? So, Spiritual Midnight brought up a good point.
Well, yeah, and
I do want to talk about that a
Address
little
that.
bit.
Yes,
because that's a huge perk.
It is. And it is. It's like having a custom car versus a stock car. Because you could do whatever you want with your PC.
especially if you build it yourself, you know where everything is.
And I think PC definitely was a big part of gaming taking off. I think it has a huge part in the history. Sorry, I was just reading what Joe Vance said.
Okay.
But I'm again, it goes back to the exclusive games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm emulating, I'm not going to be able to play those classic games like Super Mario or something like that.
Well, and there is a difference, there's just something different about emulating an old NES game and playing it on
exactly.
your
There
NES.
is.
There's a difference.
There is.
It feels different.
Yeah.
1080p.
It might be that I'm
Well,
a
and
purist.
not even that. Just
It might be that I'm a purist, but I prefer to play it on the original console.
yeah.
Rather than emulate, rather than see the HD upscaling. And
I'm gonna. It's not Friday, so technically I'm not allowed a 1-up. But I am going to tell Spiritual Midnight that I have a 4K 65-inch TV hooked up to my gaming rig. So
I'm in the middle. I have like a 45-inch 1080p
just
TV.
saying.
hooked up to my $2,000 gaming PC.
wow, a lot of one-uppers over here.
So I still want to change my graphics cards because of they're announcing some new ones. You guys aren't really PC gamers. If you are, the Titan X just came out. They announced that. That's going to cost an arm and a leg, but if I can get my hands on one, I will. If not, a GTX 980 will suffice.
Just don't murder anybody for it.
Joe Fro, I love Pop-Tarts. I always have. He says he doesn't have them in Australia.
What?
And he's asking if they taste great.
So that's a funny story.
They do taste great.
At my business of work, which I'm wearing a business shirt today, Nifty Rocket. That's not where I work, but it is one of the sub-sites of sub categories that we do. Our boss thought that everybody loved Pop-Tarts, and so he bought a year's supply of Pop-Tarts for us to snack on. And after about 2 years, where I think we'd gone through one box, he decided that probably wasn't something that we like as snacks, and so he just quit buying snacks.
Well, if you have any surplus, send them my way. I like.
I think we sent them all home with other people, or I think we sent them to the Boise office. We sent them all to the Boise office.
Gotcha.
Because they have a lot of.
Spiritual Midnight was kidding with us, by the way. They're being a jerk. They're an Aussie jerk.
Oh, we have a XRL button. What game do I recommend for Xbox One? Master Chief Collection, Halo 5 when that comes out. Some other ones.
Was Last of Us on the Xbox One?
No, that's a piece. That's a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, I don't really play Xbox One. I don't. That's a great question. I want to know the answer too.
Yeah.
What games should
What
I
games
buy
should
an
What-
Xbox One for?
What's out there for the Xbox
And if you
One?
tell me Call of Duty, I'm going to tell you
That's what-
I don't
was
need to
gonna
buy
say-
it.
I was about to say Call of Duty because I personally I
So
prefer
why
this
is
game.
Call of Duty better on Xbox One than it is on PS4?
Maybe because I grew up on an Xbox. I preferred the buttons game on an
Okay.
Xbox because it was always more comfortable to me than the PlayStation controller. So
Which is
I
fine,
will give
which
them.
is
I will
fine.
give them that. I do prefer the design of the Xbox controller over. Although I think they made it leaps and bounds with the PlayStation 4 controller.
Yeah,
I think
love
the,
the
the,
DualShock.
place,
time around.
I love
the,
the
the
DualShock 4.
DualShock 4 controller is really
Except the
comfortable.
thumbsticks are so slippery. I had to buy extra thumb grips to put on top of them because my hands kept slipping
Yeah,
off.
first world problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thumbs never slipped off.
yeah, my thumbs have
never
never
had that
slipped off
problem.
them either. Metro Redux. So that's an interesting game. Metro Redux. Have you guys played it?
I love
Yeah.
the Metro series. I had them both before
Um,
they made Reduxes.
I played Metro Last Light.
You haven't played the original Metro?
Oh, is it what is it?
2033?
2033? Yeah, I have it. Those are kind of like they're creepy first person
Yeah,
shooter games.
it's like a horror FPS. It's,
yeah,
Well, it
which is
reminds
really
me-
interesting.
it
Like
kinda-
not Resident Evil.
No,
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 no.
no. It kind of reminds me of. It's like a. It's kind of like a weird hybrid of.
kind of like Fallout, sort of.
It reminds me a lot of Fallout,
A little bit, yeah,
except without the RPG elements.
yeah,
You
which is
know.
what I love Fallout for.
Yeah, but it kind. It does kind of have a spookier atmosphere to it, and
yeah.
What Last Light did?
But I haven't. So the reason I said that is because I need. I haven't played Redux. So is Redux a remake of 2033
yeah,
No,
they combine both. of them.
it's a revamp.
2033
Oh, and Last
2033
Light.
and Last Light. They're both
together in the
remade.
one?
No, they're two different games actually.
Yeah, they're two different games, but in Metro Redux,
There's a Last Light Redux and there's 2033 Redux. They're because I bought them both when they got into Redux. I picked up copies of them. So I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
What's the difference about them though?
from the original ones?
Yeah.
It's basically they just changed the game engine and they upped the graphics to
Oh, that's it. So it's like playing Half-Life 1 and then Half-Life 1 Source.
yeah. It's just an HD remake
Okay.
mostly.
Okay.
But with Last Light, what I like is that they have. I love games that do this. They have alternate endings. Do you guys ever get?
Yeah.
Because I've tried, but I never get through to get the good ending on Last Light where everyone lives. But games that do that, I think they do a little extra mile for it. They'll get my money for that.
Interesting.
Do you guys have any games that have an alternate ending that you guys liked or hated?
well,
Chrono Trigger.
I mean, there's a lot of games that have alternate endings. It's hard to pick one. I mean,
It is hard.
Dishonored had multiple endings.
Disgaea has like
based on how
100
you
plus
played it.
different
Yeah,
endings.
I remember you talking about that. I mean, even the new Wolfenstein had
I think
maybe
it's
not
becoming more and more
not a
the
different
norm.
ending, but the way things played out was a little bit different. in
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, based on the decisions you make at the beginning of the game.
So here's a great one. This isn't on my list. It was so close, and this is actually one of the games that I really, really debated about buying an Xbox for. Fable.
Yeah, let's talk.
It
about
was
Fable a
so
little bit.
close to making my list. And
Fable 2 was awesome.
then they just killed
Fable
it.
3 was crap.
Yeah, and then they just.
And now they're coming out with like Fable Legends and
Yeah.
it's
You
just,
guys just remind me of a GIF. You guys, there's a dead horse and the guy's beating it with the cane, trying to
that's
get
what we do here.
to bring it back to life. It's
We beat dead
We
horses.
totally beat dead horses.
no,
what
I'm
we're all
talking
about.
about the game developers trying to get like every last
Oh,
ounce of
gotcha.
cash out of it. They're just packing.
I'm okay being compared to
Yeah.
beating a dead horse. That's
Totally.
what I do.
Oh. Yeah, no, Fable was a really interesting series. I kind of want to keep up on chat, but I think that the whole game was based on your choices.
Yeah, based on your
Um,
Bioshock had a morality in it.
yeah. And so, I mean, I think it's something that more and more game developers are putting into their games. I think probably my favorite game that had the alternate ending that changed was Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
Depending on your morality system there.
Mm-hmm.
Was really interesting. Then there was Kingdoms of Amalur. Which, did you guys play that game?
Yeah.
So that game was like so hyped, and I was so excited for it because it was written by R.A. Salvatore.
Todd McFarlane did a lot of stuff on it.
It was like
he does awesome
and it was a
artwork.
beautiful looking game. But I just felt like I didn't care.
It didn't. It felt empty.
Yeah,
Like it looked great, it played well, but it just for some reason I can't pinpoint it. It just didn't grab.
I think I only got maybe 5 hours into the game,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna go back to playing Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still have Kingdoms sitting on my
It's
shelf,
sitting right there,
and it's been sitting there for over a year, and I don't.
right next to Skyrim. Actually,
Right next
this
to
one that
Skyrim.
says Reckoning,
Reckoning.
in between
Okay, I'm blind.
Dishonored and
Right.
that one right there. That's it. I don't know. I mean, it was the combat system and stuff was really interesting.
Okay. Now I know what you guys are talking about.
Well, this is the game that made the developer go bankrupt.
Yeah,
I mean
they put
the
everything
state
onto
of
that game.
Rhode Island,
yeah.
like
Backed them and everything.
seized
Yeah.
their entire everything about it. I mean,
Yeah,
basically,
it's kind of a weird story.
it was a really weird story.
No.
Holy crap! What happened there?
It looks like Moobot was sharing our list.
Cool. Good job, Mubot.
Thank you, Moobot. Spiritual Midnight talked about Payday 2.
Okay, Payday 2. I bought the game because of the hype. Had no idea what I was doing in it.
You know which game?
Payday 2?
You're the
The one with the
heist,
clowns?
The heist.
Yeah,
You rob banks and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very multiplayer driven. So
yeah.
I never.
Yeah,
played it.
I mean, there's people. Yeah, this is it. If,
Yeah.
we're showing them. Yeah. A lot of people that I talk to love this game. There's a guy at work that loves this game. One of my brother's stepsons. Constantly, that's all he plays is Payday 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just doesn't look that interesting to me.
I bought it because I thought it'd be more amazing, but it didn't really catch me. Maybe because of the games I get into, people don't really talk back to you or anything. But it wasn't a game that kept my attention very long.
Yeah.
So basically, you just go in with friends, right? It's multiplayer.
Yeah, it's multiplayer. There's kind of a matchmaking thing, and people can leave halfway through the heist too. They can just take off, or you can get launched into it.
And can you play not multiplayer? Like, is it AI controlled or anything
I
like
think-
that? Like,
Does it have a single player story?
If I'm no, I think it's all multiplayer. If I remember
Interesting.
correctly.
and there's no story, right? All you do is
They're
rob
just different
banks and
heists
stuff.
and like different. There's different difficulty levels and
Interesting. So Spiritual Midnight talks about Need for Speed Most Wanted.
okay. Need for Speed.
I
That
remember
was the
that
game I played on my PSP all the time. It was Need for Speeds.
I people are not going to like me for this. My favorite Need for Speed game was Shift, where you were actually racing. Instead of outrunning the cops, you were doing any of that. Is like it was about, tuning it. Like I love, I forget Gran Turismo.
Okay.
Those types of games. I love like straight racing games. Forza Horizon, which Spiritual Midnight talked about earlier. Those are fun games to me. And Need for Speed Shift and Need for Speed Shift 2. I think those are my favorite entries in the series. I am in the minority. People hated those. But yeah, where you're actually racing, and besides it looks amazing. And the car choice. They had the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10, which is my dream car.
Which they discontinued.
I know they did, and it's stupid
I
because it was such an awesome game awesome
if-
car.
and if
Look
you-
at that!
And
Look
if you
at that
think
car!
about it, it's the only competition that the Subaru STI had at all. And like
It's such an
they gave
awesome
up on it
looking
like
car.
at 2010. They just stopped
Oh my
redesigning the
gosh.
car. They just shoved it out, and then they just
when it comes to racing games,
Thank you, Spiritual Midnight, for agreeing that Shift was good. It is a good game. People didn't give it the respect it deserved because it really was good.
and I didn't play a lot of Need for Speed. My wife is a big Burnout fan. And
Burnout's
so
a fun game.
those are the racing games I play. The Burnout games,
Yeah.
and they're fun.
But I don't know. I mean, it's like we want to do Fast and the Furious in a video game. Outrunning cops and all that kind of stuff. I guess that just doesn't appeal to me.
Well, I'll play Grand Theft Auto if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to outrun cops.
Sure. Specifically Grand Theft Auto 3.
Exactly. There's not really another one that
Right.
counts.
Yeah. But are there other Grand Theft Auto games? I mean, why is it called 3?
Well, they start at 3, which was a weird decision.
They start at 3.
Really?
Did they do anything after that?
The original Grand Theft Auto was like it was an error in their programming. It made the cop cars chase after you.
We're
sorry.
We're messing with our producer over here.
Messing with
Behind the
Gamer
scenes.
John.
I
who
got-
thinks
I-
that
I
Grand
got
Theft
sucked
Auto
into it. I
2
got
is
sucked
the
into
best.
it.
He swears by Grand Theft Auto 2.
Yeah.
Let's give him crap because he's wrong. Yeah.
I haven't gotten Forza Horizon because I think it's an Xbox.
Get your top-down Grand Theft Auto out of here.
That's ridiculous, dude. Look at that crap.
Oh, okay.
Who wants to play that?
That's the second
Gamer
one.
John.
Gamer John wants to play it.
Okay.
Is Forza an Xbox exclusive?
I think it is maybe.
Is it?
Can we do some research on
It
that?
was Forza. I know they have an exclusive game.
Which one?
Forza?
Just Forza.
Forza Horizon specifically.
Forza. It says Horizon. On
Horizon 2. Is it exclusive?
5. Is it 5?
The F-150 Raptor.
Xbox One.
See,
That's Spiritual Midnight's favorite truck.
I'm not sure if you know this, but they discontinued for like 2 years, and they're bringing it back. Except instead of the V8 motor, they're putting in a twin turbo V6.
What are we talking about?
The Raptor? Is that what you're talking
And
about?
yeah, in the
The
2016
Ford F-150 Raptor.
2016 model.
So here's a question for you guys. Do you remember maybe... I don't know, Colt, if you'll know this game. But there was a racing game on the PC called Mega Race.
Mega Race.
Have you guys heard of it? It's where you're racing in an alien world.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, I played so much. Yes, this
Sounds
is
very-
it.
that
This is
sounds
it right
familiar.
here. Mega Race.
Yeah, I've played that. I've played that.
yeah, it is
Oh my
familiar.
gosh, I loved this game. I spent so much time playing this
Yeah, I
game.
remember
it had
the dude
like
with the
the
glasses.
dude with the glasses and the
Okay,
girl.
yeah.
And like there was so many things that went on with this game that were so much fun. Man, I loved it. It was an old DOS game. I didn't know they made a Mega Race 2. What?
And
That's
you
awesome.
missed out on it.
I'm gonna go find it now. I hope it's on GOG.
Okay, since we're talking about racing games, another car game that I grew up with was Crazy Taxi. That game
I
was so
remember
much
Crazy
fun.
See, I like the Cruising series, Cruising USA, Cruising World in the arcade. You know, those are fun. You
Yeah.
gotta tap
Those are fun.
the gas pad, go into the wheelie, do backflips and stuff.
Yes. Which I mean, that's a great topic. Like, does playing a game in an arcade, like specifically, I remember playing Killer Instinct in the arcade, and then it came out for
Super Nintendo.
was it Super Nintendo? No, didn't they do a PlayStation version?
They
Maybe it
did
was
a Super Nintendo and an N64 version. That's it.
Okay, so it was the Super
And then
Nintendo
and now the
version.
Xbox One version.
So when I think arcade
And
games,
they were very. I mean, for some reason, that game was just so much fun in the arcade, and I didn't particularly care for it playing by myself at home. So I guess that's a good discussion point. Is is it a different experience? Even though
Well, and beyond that,
It's
how
the
many
same
people
game.
can have that experience now? Arcades.
they're-
it's hard to find
they're
an arcade now.
disappearing.
yeah,
Like the one in in our area, Twin Falls, it was gone for like a year or two, but they brought it back. It's called the Tilt now. It's not the same, but
where's it at?
It's in the mall.
it's
Isn't
right
it?
next to JCPenney, I think. Yeah.
Oh, is it in the mall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the mall. It's not that great, but I remember. I loved going to arcades. I remember going and playing like Mortal Kombat and stuff. But there was always a
Yeah.
line, and so there's this.
You had
it
to
was,
wait.
It was but it was unspoken. To queue up your position in line, you put your quarter up on the display.
Yeah.
So there'd be a line of quarters, and whoever's as the quarters would disappear, you'd keep track of your quarter, and then it was your turn. You
See-
drop the quarter in, the winner stays, loser goes to the back of the line or goes on
Right.
to another game. But that was kind of a cool feeling, and you really can't replicate that with home video game systems.
No.
So I miss when the Pizza Huts used to have the little arcade systems. in
Yeah,
there. I remember
Pizza
just
places always
getting
used to have-
pizza and playing the Area 51 game when I was
Yeah,
young.
Area 51.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember at our
But
pizza
I mean,
here when
still
I was a kid.
you have places like Chuck E. Cheese and stuff that still
Yeah,
has them.
but see, a lot of places like that, they're all those ticket games.
Yeah,
they're not really video games. I mean, they're like skee ball and stuff like that, and you get all the
Yeah.
tickets and crap. That's right.
Totally.
That's me in the back.
Heck yeah.
I'm not wearing glasses.
I never played Pac-Man, but I remember playing.
I played Frogger. I played the Mario Brothers.
Played Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ms. Pac-Man.
Well, and that is, I mean,
Mortal
that's
Kombat,
the
Street
epitome
Fighter.
of the Pac-Man game is Mrs. Pac-Man.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah, it's the
Metal,
best one.
Metal Slug?
Metal Slug. I
Yeah.
love the Metal Slug games.
Yeah.
Those are fun games.
So Joe Fro
Freaking
said
Time Crisis.
Time Crisis.
I love Time Crisis.
Time Crisis. Such a good game. Joe Fro said Destruction Derby 2. It's not one that I played.
Minesweeper. Okay, I'm just real quick.
Yeah,
Spiritual
Minesweeper.
Midnight. Minesweeper. That's the answer.
Yes, it is Spiritual Midnight.
Yeah, Destruction Derby was fun.
It was.
So was Twisted Metal. Remember Twisted Metal?
Yeah, Twisted Metal Black was my favorite.
What was it? Twisted Metal was like the Mortal Kombat of racing games.
Yes.
It really was. I mean, it had time wasted.
That was a hard game, though. Minesweeper was hard.
It
It
was.
was hard.
It was a lot of fun, though.
Okay. So we're talking about the first PC game ever was that. Was it? Not. It was not. Is it ping? That's not ping pong.
Pong.
Pong. No, not Pong. It's the. It was on XP. What's it called? With the little metal ball that goes.
Pinball?
Pinball. There we go. Pinball.
Space Cadet
See,
Pinball?
there we go.
Yeah, I remember
I
Space
played
Cadet.
that game so much. I wish they'd bring it back.
No way, man. It's all about Spider Solitaire.
All the way. Spider Solitaire was.
That's
so
why I bought a PC.
I think there was.
I bought a PC for Chips Challenge. Do you guys remember
remember
that
Chips
game?
Challenge.
You don't remember Gamer John? Chips Challenge? Nobody?
You know
Nobody?
what? The first PC I ever had as a kid was one of the old green and black.
Yeah.
I loved this game.
Chips
They just
Challenge.
did. They released a version of it on
Oh yeah,
Steam.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I knew you guys were gonna know.
I
it.
remember this.
Yes, this game was the
That's a
shit.
cool game.
I kid you not. I played it forever.
I'd forgot. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I
I
love
didn't know
this
what it was
game.
called, but yeah.
And they
I
just
remember
they
that.
did a remake. The guy who made Chips Challenge did a remake that I bought on Steam, and I wish I could remember the name of it. What was it? Chuck's Challenge. Is it Chuck's Challenge? Which is it's basically just a 3D version of yes, this is it.
See, that doesn't look as fun.
No, because you're seeing the 3D version of it. You gotta
Yeah.
show like the actual gameplay picture. Yeah, so it's basically just, yeah. No, now you're showing the creator version of it. That's fine. Yeah, so very, very similar gameplay. It's the same
an
guy
i-
that
more-
did Chips
yeah.
Challenge,
More of an isometric
Um,
view, 3D elements.
but Chips Challenge was so awesome.
And Ski Free. That's what Chips Challenge
Yes.
reminds me of. Was Ski Free.
Ski
It was like
Free.
it was that era, and there was another one like Super Ball, something like that. You were a sentient ball that had to like navigate a maze and stuff like that.
I love Ski Free. So much fun with the abominable snowman.
You know what would have been cool to see like a game like
No,
1080 snowboarding
it's
on
almost-
N64 and
And
throw
then
in
all
the
of a sudden,
abominable. Yeah, throw in
all
the
of a sudden
monster.
here comes the monster.
That'd be so awesome. There's
Um,
nothing more panic-inducing than seeing that guy.
I know, it's like I'm gonna die.
Because you can't avoid him. There is
No.
no way to avoid him.
There's no way to avoid it.
Okay, Spiritual Midnight just brought up Oregon Trails. You guys ever played that
Oh
game?
yeah,
Oregon
Oregon
Trail is
Trail.
like the genesis of the education
Yeah.
game
That was-
genre.
that
Carmen
was-
San Diego. I mean, that was
I
all.
loved Carmen San
Those
Diego.
games were great.
The Oregon Trail game was so much fun. I always wanted a copy. I always went to the library just to play that game because they had it here. And I remember when at school they get little pamphlets to buy books, and I saw the game in there. So I put the money in. I bought it. Well, it turns out
It's right there, dude.
they had an
First
error.
one. Oh, you're talking
And-
Ski Free.
They had to cancel all the orders. So I never got my Oregon Trail copy.
Oh man,
I was so devastated.
Yeah, man, Oregon Trail. I always died of dysentery.
everyone died of dysentery.
It was like, how
Or
did
you
people even
drown.
make it across the plains?
Or
They all
you
died.
Yeah, or you would drown trying to save money and not paying for a ferry across the
I
water.
know.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
you
like,
either try to afford it or
I'm
float
gonna
your
afford
wagon,
this.
and you always
Yes.
drown.
Hey, Gamer John is playing Ski Free.
Okay.
Very cool. Where's the snowman? He sucks.
He does suck. I was just gonna say.
Okay.
Jump,
okay,
man.
and
Get
I
the
know-
jump. Do
You
some
want
tricks.
I don't know
to
the
avoid
game.
the rocks, bro.
Do some tricks.
Okay.
While he's doing that and we're waiting for the Abominable Snowman, the music was a big part of it
Yeah.
too, though.
What?
Well, the Abominable Snowman is in the
Water.
You got into the end. Snow monster's not a real thing. Climate change is.
Oh, lame.
Slow clap for these people.
Lame.
Ski for
That reminds me of the PETA game that they made of Mario. A while
It
back.
was
Remember
so
that? Where you're
cool.
wearing the bloody skin of a
Yes! It was,
That was
so
awesome.
morbid, but I loved
Yeah,
it.
it was awesome.
I loved it.
It didn't dissuade me from playing Mario, and it was
me either.
well, you know, it was one of their weird. I mean, all of their
Plus, it was like 20 years too late.
yeah, and all of their agendas are weird. Like I remember they were mad at Ubisoft when Assassin's Creed 4 was announced because it said it was promoting well hunting. It was
Yeah.
like, no, we're not promoting well hunting because honestly, what typical gamer can go out and go well hunting?
Yeah.
No, what they're doing is they're portraying.
Maybe if the gamer's name
a
is
historic,
Ishmael.
yeah, exactly. You know, they're portraying a historical lifestyle.
Yeah.
And part of that was whaling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about what Joe Fro brought up. Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah.
I have to say one thing. Mario Kart is the end-all be-all.
Kart racing.
My favorite kart racing game.
Yeah.
But Crash Tag Team Racing on the PlayStation 1 was so much fun. So much fun. I loved that
You know,
game.
the
I
funny
played the crap out of it. Yes, this game.
You know, that was one of the games that I would convince my mom to let us play.
Yeah.
It's because she, you know, there was a time there where she was very anti-gaming and stuff because of media reports and stuff.
Right.
But when a game has CTR in the title, your mom can't argue with you and say
Exactly.
it's a bad game.
Exactly. It's totally a good game. No, Crash Team Racing,
Crash
and then
Team
they did a
Racing.
sequel on the PlayStation 2, which was Crash Tag Team
Team.
Racing.
Yes.
Both of them were great games, and I think could rival Mario Kart in terms of fun for me.
Yeah.
But Crash Bandicoot was a really, really fun series. I think Warped was my favorite,
Yeah.
just because they added so many new mechanics to
You know,
it.
it was a cool series, and it was back in that. You know, I remember the commercials for it. You had the guy in the Crash
Yes.
Bandicoot suit standing out in Nintendo headquarters with a megaphone yelling at him.
Yeah,
Like, you remember those?
Yeah.
Like how
back when
it was funny.
it
you
was
know?
funny.
and it was like,
And they're Naughty Dog games,
yeah, they were.
which they were great.
They were.
They were a lot of fun.
Naughty Dog has a good pedigree.
I would totally play if they did a new Crash Bandicoot game. I would totally play.
Yeah.
By far.
And you know, the game I would love to see brought back. I'd like to see a new Earthworm Jim.
That would be
You
fun.
know, Earthworm Jim was a fun game. The 3D one
I mean, it
on
was
N64
frustrating with all
sucked.
sorts.
Yeah, but it was fun. It had a charm. It was
In fact,
funny.
wasn't Earthworm Jim one of our frustrating gaming
Yeah, it was.
experiences of our youth?
we mentioned it. You know,
Yeah,
the freaking bubble level.
the bubble level. Yeah, Earthworm Jim. Definitely, I would play a new version of that.
Mm-hmm.
The old Tony
You
Hawk.
gotta love Tony Hawk. The N64
For the-
ones, the PlayStation ones.
The PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Yeah, the PS1 era.
Yes,
They were fun games.
They were fun games.
The
And then
Unlockables were awesome. You
that
could-
series just kind of
Went downhill.
Well, they went into like Tony Hawk's Underground,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
then they went into like the weird Tony Hawk ride with the stupid plastic skateboard peripheral. You know,
Yes.
it got away from the core gameplay of just
Which speaking
let me skate.
of skating games, so Ollie Ollie Wood 2
How is that? I haven't tried that yet.
is free on PlayStation Plus right now. I keep hitting
Yeah,
your
you keep
name.
it,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't mean to.
I'm gonna file a lawsuit.
One day, I'm segue, and if this person from my work is watching, I'm totally going to tell this story. One day, I had a coworker who constantly came up to me and just felt my hair. We would always just like, he'd be like, "Hey, Lance, how's it going?" And it really creeped me out. So one day he called me over because he needed help with something, and I scooted my chair right next to him, and I'm like, "Hey." He has not touched my hair since. So, just saying.
Very good.
No,
Very good.
so we were talking about Ollie Ollie Wood too. It's a lot of fun. I'm like, the whole focus is nailing that perfect trick, and I could definitely see people being consumed by that game because it is very, very satisfying when you do it, but it's really, really hard to do.
going back to the Tony Hawk games, I think one of the funnest things for me was the unlockable characters. In one of them,
Thank you, Joe Vance.
You could unlock Spider-Man.
Yes.
Another one you could unlock Solid Snake.
Yeah.
I mean, it was goofy. It was fun.
Yeah.
But
one of my favorite sports games is with the board and everything, SSX Tricky, for the N64.
okay. I like
Was it N64? No, it was PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, SSX Tricky,
That was a good
PlayStation 2.
game. My favorite
This I
snowboarding
sunk
game.
a ton of time into this game.
I like 1080 though. I loved 1080.
See, I
snowboarding.
didn't play 1080.
That was on the N64, and I just remember playing. I remember playing that and Wave Race.
Wave Race. I remember playing Wave Race
Those
and
were
the
fun
Dolphins
games. Yeah,
block
and
too.
you could dive into the water and
And
come back up, and
I hated that game. It was a fun game, don't get me wrong, but I always played with my friend because he had the 64, and he always beat the crap out of me.
Okay, Wave Race. Yes, I have that on my 64. I played this.
Yeah, this game.
I always like to do a barrel roll.
yeah, you could do barrel rolls in it.
Yeah.
Like it was a cool game.
It was a cool game. I didn't know they did a Game Boy version.
Of course they did.
I didn't know that.
That'd be weird. I wonder what that looks like.
Totally. I'm gonna check that out. Stunt Car Racer, Spiritual Midnight said. I never played that game. I don't know. What system was it for?
He said a good 80 game.
So it must have been if it was that era.
Oh, DOS.
Oh wow.
Right on. So this looks a lot like
Looks
what was that game?
pole
Position?
Pole Position. Yeah.
Pole Position. Yeah, it looks a lot like Pole Position.
Title
POLE.
just-
There you go.
I'm nervous typing this one. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this one.
there it is.
There's a lot of games. This came out for the Atari. Wasn't it the Atari?
No, it was later than that.
This
What was
a DOS
it?
game.
Was it a DOS game?
Yeah.
Or wasn't? What was the one
Oh,
on the Atari?
Yeah. Right there.
I knew you guys were lying to me. I knew I played this on my Atari.
Nice.
Maybe
It was a lot of fun.
Game Boy.
The other Atari game that I could not get enough of, and I still play online. Like, if I'm bored, I'll go play this game.
Pitfall.
Kaboom. Did you ever play Kaboom?
Yeah.
I loved Kaboom.
alright.
Yes, this game. Kaboom. It's addicting, because you gotta catch the bombs. And the guy's just sitting there laughing at you. It's so much fun. In fact, this is the game that my parents... This is the game that turned my parents on to gaming. Was Kaboom. Because they would sit there, because you had the little knob controller, and you'd have to spin the knob and go back and forth. But they loved it.
That's funny.
Well, you brought up Pitfall right now, but you don't play Call of Duty very often. But in Call of Duty Black Ops, the first one, second one. If you went on the map Nuketown, you chopped off all the mannequins' heads, and you went to the little TV screen. You can actually play Pitfall
What is this?
in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It was on the map. It was a little Easter egg that actually did knocked all the heads off the mannequins in I think it was a minute or two. They gave you the chance to play Pitfall in the game.
Interesting.
Cool.
It was a game within a game, which is that's yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
It's always fun
So,
to
I
have
mean,
little stuff like that.
Pitfall is an interesting series. They haven't made one since
The
Mayan Adventure.
Yeah. Which was a weird.
It
was
weird,
fun,
but it was
weird.
fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually, but it was weird. But no, the original Pitfall on the Atari. I never played the. No, Impossible Mission 2. I've heard of that game. It came out for the. I want to say the Atari as well. Or was it the Nintendo?
Cool. Looks fun.
Was it for the Nintendo? I think it was.
Looks like it's PC.
There's not really any.
Is it DOS? You know, it actually reminds me of another game,
Amiga,
which was
the Commodore.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Elevator Action. Did you guys ever hear of that game?
No.
That's a really interesting game as well. I think it's called Elevator Action. Yes.
You're
Yeah, on the
coming
Game
up
Boy.
with really strange titles.
Elevator action on the Game Boy.
See, I remember there was a game I used to play on the first
But you
computer
have to
I
go.
had.
You have to go and shut the doors.
The first computer I had, it was, I don't even remember what it was, but it had the green and black screen. And there was a game on there, I think it was called Hard Hat Mac.
Oh yeah.
And you'd have to go and like put the girders in. It kind of had a very Donkey Kong type feel to it. But there's that game, and then there's another game that I just called Mad Max because that's what it reminded me of. But you flew a plane, and you had to drop like bombs on these motorcycle gangs in the desert.
Right on.
Like, it was a fun game. It was hard, but it was fun. Not the new Mad Max.
Not the new
This isn't
one.
mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a new Mad Max coming out to coincide with the new movie, and it looks fun.
Okay, so Mad Max makes me think of Max Payne.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
What did you guys think of those games? So the
I
movie
didn't
was
play the
okay.
new one.
I
I
thought the
didn't-
movie was okay.
I liked the movie. It was decent.
Um,
I didn't play Max Payne 3.
I didn't
was
play
fun.
Max Payne 3
But
either.
I liked the first two. I mean, it kind of... It was one of the
I
first
thought it
games
was
to do like the
just
whole
so-
bullet time
Yeah.
type mechanic. and
It was so
it
over the
fun.
top. The
Oh,
writing
yeah.
was so... Like, I remember the one line... he's just killed a bunch of people in the public restroom. And he says... And they're like... Because Punchinelli, who's the main villain, wants to see him... And Max Payne has this incredibly stupid line that it stuck with me forever. It's like, if Punchinelli wanted to see the pain, he'd see the pain. And it's like, just like line after line of Max Payne's dialogue of just being so incredibly over the top 80s.
Yeah, and it's
just
awesome.
so
It was
awesome. Yeah, Max Payne's definitely an interesting series.
Yeah. No, the
Kind of ripping off the Matrix a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that whole slowing down
Yeah.
time and dodging bullets and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I never did play the new one, though, Max Payne 3. But...
The original Metal Gear Solid game, which came out for the Nintendo
The NES.
NES, it was fun, but it sucked because if you died, you went all the way
All the
back
way,
to
yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, it was fun.
Um,
I feel asleep. That was my favorite part, yeah. The bad translations.
yeah,
Oh, I'm tired. I feel asleep.
I loved bad translations.
Congrat-
What was that?
Congratulations. All your base are belong to
All
us.
your base belong to us. Congratulations. A winner is you.
I wish they still had
What was
those.
this game?
No, I mean, just
No,
that
it-
era, though.
Metal Gear did have a bad translation, but it wasn't
Yeah,
that game.
like I like I like this Metal Gear, and I also like the first Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. That was a fun game.
And then it just
Then
like,
it got really weird.
for some reason just super convoluted, and who knew what the crap was happening?
Yeah,
with that.
I'm not. I
Like,
really
I've
don't know
even
what's
tried
going
to
on.
watch the movie versions of the games to figure out, like, okay, everybody says Metal Gear is so fun, so awesome. But, like, I watched the movies, I still just sitting there trying to
I
figure
don't
out
think
what's going
Kojima
on.
knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, how
It's
you
like
guys
they're
played
just so convoluted.
the new ones? The new one that just came out.
Ground Zeroes
Yeah.
or Phantom Pain? Phantom Pain hasn't dropped yet.
I know Ground Zeroes,
Ground
because
Zeroes.
it's kind of prequel to Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
But those
it's
are
a tech demo that they released at
Yeah.
full price.
yeah,
Demo
yeah.
that they released at full price.
I didn't buy it, but
That's
I watched,
what it is.
Quote
I watched
from
people
Gamer
online
Cult.
play it. Which,
That's going to be a highlight. We should highlight that quote from Gamer Cult. It's a tech demo.
Well, am I wrong?
It's a tech demo,
It is-
like
it is technically a tech
PT,
demo.
but instead of being free, they
Right.
charged $59.99.
Right.
and
That's
lots
exactly
of
what
people
they
bought
did. And tons of people
Oh,
bought it.
man.
it. It got hyped, and
Tons of
and
people.
honestly, it is a good tech demo.
But $59.99.
I didn't do that. No,
Oh my gosh.
I won't do that.
So how do you know?
I feel like we kind of distracted from our topic.
Yes,
I
we
think
did.
we added 2 games
We
to our
left that
list.
in the dust a long time ago.
Bam.
I'm not even going back to it.
We should probably wrap things up a little bit.
Right.
Do we want to do one more game each
Yeah, I'm
for our list?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
you-
So
you-
we stopped with Halo. Was the last actual game that we talked about for our list. And that was Roman. So now it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
I don't know if we've had this on the list yet.
Well,
But,
we can see the list.
Yeah, I'm going back to look at the list real quick.
It's here.
Ooh, I have a game
It's
that
up here.
you guys haven't mentioned.
But is it on there?
What is it?
MK2. I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either.
I'm going to check about Mortal Kombat 2.
But I like the Mortal Kombat trilogy on, was it 64?
There's one on 64 and PlayStation 1.
See, this-
And it was a combination of all three games with all the stages and stuff. But for me, my favorite game of the entire series is MK2, Mortal Kombat 2. I
Which
love
was
the entire
on-
series. Arcade, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I was gonna say Genesis was what I thought you were gonna tell me.
Yeah. It was a fun
Do
game.
you
It was
just 1 second, Colt? Do you
Yeah.
guys know the game he's talking about with the cameraman that was stuck in the mall?
Yeah, that was it wasn't Zombie Apocalypse, it was Dead Rising.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't play either one of those games.
Yeah, there's Dead Rising, and then Dead Rising
Rising
2
2,
came out, and now
and
there's Dead
Dead
Rising
Rising
3,
3.
right, for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was okay.
Three
Yeah,
was
no,
really
I saw my
interesting.
brother-in-law playing Dead Rising 3.
I mean,
Is it out?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a.
I watched him play it,
When the first
and
games come out.
it looked like gratuitous.
Yeah, I
violence.
mean, it's over the top, but what's cool about it is it's very... You can make weapons out of anything. You can combine weapons and create super crazy weapons.
What I like is the
Yeah.
different customization suits.
Yeah.
You can have a dragon. This one guy I watched on YouTube, he had a full Mega Man suit.
Yeah, there's a Mega Man suit
And he was like, you just running
With
around
the-
beating zombies in a Mega Man suit.
with
Just
the
punch.
Mega Buster, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
But I mean, it's just wanton rampage.
And you can play as Pikachu, obviously. No, that's a Lego game.
Yep.
No Pikachu.
There you go.
No Pikachu in Dead Rising.
No,
Un-
sorry.
unconfirmed.
Oh, Spiritual Midnight's out.
Best console ever is the PS1.
It's really
Yeah,
good luck. Good luck with your college work, Spiritual Midnight.
I should
Yes.
do that.
Good luck.
We totally
Study well.
we totally support higher education.
We do.
Right, Roman?
Yeah,
We do. We're college
fun.
educated.
I'm working on that.
When our college educations combine,
We have bachelors.
we
I have nothing. I have nothing.
When the three of us had all of our course credits together,
Probably
we
have a
could
PhD.
possibly have
We could probably be PhD level.
maybe.
See, I have like 20.
I'll say it, we have PhDs.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have like 7 PhDs, but I don't like to brag. um,
And we're talking about MK2.
You know,
in old English poetry, actually.
Yeah,
my PhD was in.
Let's go back to Mortal Kombat real quick.
Let's do it.
Before we answer
I'm
the
so
question.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I've always been a fan of fighting games, and I think Mortal Kombat 2. It was one of the when we talked about Diablo, it had that forbidden
Yes.
sense to it, and that's kind of one of the intriguing things about it. And Mortal Kombat always had that with me too. It was a game I probably wasn't supposed to be playing as a kid, but I still played it anyways. In fact, when I first got my Sega Genesis for Christmas, within that week, we went and rented a movie.
Hey, Spiritual Midnight followed.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've got to shout out his name
Okay.
in harmony.
Okay, ready?
Good
1,
sequence.
2, 3.
Spiritual Midnight.
We need to work on
But when I
explosions.
first got my
His her name.
Genesis,
I'm
we
not
went.
sure what it's
We
called.
went to the video store
Mhm.
and we were looking at games to rent. And my dad, of all people, he's like, well, there's Mortal Kombat 2. Isn't that a new game? He's like, why don't you rent that one? I was like, okay. And I really didn't know what it was, So I picked it up, played it. We took it home, and played it. The very first match, I lost, and Baraka uppercutted me into the dead pool. And my skeleton came bobbing up and floating. My dad's like, maybe we should turn this game off. So that was my first experience with Mortal Kombat 2, and I was hooked ever
Well,
since.
Baraka was frightening in and
Yeah,
of
oh,
himself.
Terrifying,
Yeah.
But I'm a Scorpion guy. I love Scorpion, one of my favorite video game characters. I'm awesome as Scorpion. In fact, my wife doesn't let me play as Scorpion when she plays with me.
Do the line.
Get over here!
Thank you so much.
Which is cool. And the cool thing about that is Ed Boon still voices Scorpion.
That's cool.
Even since the beginning.
Did you read Joe Fro's comment?
I didn't. Well, any game is boring when you boil it down to that. All you do is press buttons to do things.
Yeah.
So
Legend of Zelda. All I'm doing is pushing buttons.
Halo, all I'm doing is pushing the same button over and over, and then every now and then I'll hit the jump button.
Exactly.
Right?
Shots fired.
Yes.
So when we boil it down to that, but it depends on the fighting game.
Punch
There's
her
different
first.
fighting games. Mortal Kombat is all about special moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Street Fighter is more about, it's kind of a combination. There are special moves, but it's more about, it's more of a technical game.
Yeah. Street Fighter's more of a reaction. You're reading
Yeah.
your opponent and
Yeah,
reacting.
exactly. And then,
Where
you've
Mortal
got-
Kombat's more like visceral.
Yeah, exactly. Very visceral. And then you've got, like the Soul Caliburs where it's very weapon based and,
See, the thing what really made Mortal Kombat was like the vitality, babality, and
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what
Friendship.
put it on the map. all the finishing moves, the digitized actors, they weren't hand drawn.
So Jovan's used a really, really interesting word in his comment.
But on PC, it's not about him. Well, you stroke all the keys you want, Joe.
Yeah, man. That's what I was going to say. Is like, I don't know what kind of games you're playing on your PC, but I mash buttons on my PC. I do not stroke.
Buttons and keys are the same thing.
Well, it's true. Although I will say, I don't think Zork
you push
Zork is
something?
not pushing buttons because
You're writing.
you're writing.
You're writing a
um,
thesis.
You are writing these playing Zork. In fact, that's one of my PhDs.
Zork.
Is Zork. I got a doctorate in Zorkology.
So you're a Zork dork.
I am a Zork dork.
I like Zork too. We've talked about Zork.
Yeah, mash your fist on that thing. Anyway, no, I completely agree with you. I think Mortal Kombat is more about the experience about playing as the separate characters and learning their moves and being able to topple anybody. And I think they're more it's more of a level playing field with Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Or even like Capcom versus Marvel,
Right.
or anything like those type of games. Like there are overpowered characters
Definitely.
in those games, so I
The
really don't
balancing
feel
isn't
like
quite there.
Mortal Kombat has any one character that's more powerful than
Right.
It
another.
just depends who you take a liking to, because especially
Yeah.
those guys like my cousins, I don't know how they did it, but they got the hit combos and you couldn't do anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're powerful
stuck
if
in a
you know
corner, you're
their
screwed.
if you know their moves, then you can do great. And I think that's what I loved about Injustice, was I didn't really feel like there was any one overpowered
No.
character
No.
in Injustice. It was just the one that you knew the moves for.
Yeah. And what felt good to you? I mean, there's slow characters, there's quick characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on what your playstyle is. But with Mortal Kombat, it kind of had a cool, it was built originally for the arcades. It was totally
Yeah.
an arcade experience. And they added the fatalities as a way to kind of get that last one up on your opponent in the arcade sense.
Can't
You're surrounded by people,
insult upon
you beat someone, you finish them with a gory fatality, and it's just
Right.
that last kind of
I'm better than
insult to injury, the salt in the wound, and that
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that, it made it fun. You know,
What's your favorite fatality?
my favorite fatality would have to be Sub-Zero spine rip
That's a good
you.
one.
from the very first game. I mean, it's
Like the one.
it's what gave us our current rating system was
Yeah.
that fatality.
Yeah.
That's what freaked all the legislators out. That's what freaked parents out, and as a result, that's where the MSRB originated.
See, the one that stuck in my head from Mortal Kombat Trilogy is when I can't remember her name. She's the witch with the hair that looks
Sindel,
Sindel. She screeches and everything comes off and
your
you just have
skin flies off.
and you just have a skeleton. That one's always stuck in my head.
Mine's his name's Kung Lao.
Wow,
Kun Lao.
with the
The
razor, hat.
the razor that he slices people in half. That one's stuck with me.
Very cool.
So
Scorpion,
on.
Scorpion's toasty move was always a good one, where he rips his mask off and burns you with his skull. It was cool.
yes,
So when MKX drops, we're gonna stream it.
Sounds good.
for sure.
I'll be here. You be here?
Okay.
Oh, I'll be here. It's my house. I'll be here.
Just want to make sure.
Be here.
It'd be awkward if I'm here and you're not here.
Is it my
Yeah,
turn?
that would be weird.
It
Yeah,
is
go
your
for it.
turn.
We're getting down to the these are the games that I love. Alright, I'm going to talk about it. The Baldur's Gate series.
Which game in the series?
Oh, 2. Baldur's Gate 2.
Okay.
And its expansion. I'm including the expansion in that. Shadows of Arm. Shadows of Am. I don't know how to say exactly what that is.
It's spelled.
Baldur's Gate. You
Yeah,
are.
Roger, please provide backup for ball kicking. You got it, Joe Fro. We will go down to EA and we'll kick some balls, I guess. I guess that's what we're doing now.
Did you say 2?
2. Throne of Ball was actually the expansion. The first one was Shadows of... I don't know how to say AMR. ARM?
Ammer?
Or something. And then the expansion was Throne of Ball. Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate, was an amazing game. I love that game. I bought the HD remake on Steam that they released. They also released the Baldur's Gate 2 on HD remake for Steam. I bought that one as well. I think these are the games that really put BioWare on the map. I also think that these are the games that brought Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, they did it for the iPad as well. They released it for the iPad. It's the Infinity Engine, which, let's talk about the games that were built on the Infinity Engine. Baldur's Gate was built on it. Planescape Torment was built on it. Knights of the Old Republic was built on it. I mean, these are like some really solid RPG games were built on this engine. And almost all of those are on my list. Baldur's Gate, we talked about KOTOR last time. Planescape Torment was the first game I talked about because it's absolute favorite. The story, the characters, everything about it. Baldur's Gate is an amazing game. If you guys haven't played it, you need to.
Cool.
It's a fairly long game. I think it's like I beat it in 90 hours. I think it took me. May be able to beat it faster. I did a lot of side quests, but yeah, it's a very, very fun game. So none of you guys have played it, I take it?
No.
Nope.
I feel so alone sometimes.
It's okay.
Sorry, forever alone.
Yes. That's fine. I have my solo RPG experiences to keep me company.
Disgaea.
And Disgaea, which is also a solo RPG experience.
All right,
Strategy RPG.
round us out, Roman.
Okay.
What would you add?
Me? It's another FPS. This is a PC based one, so it's better.
Does that make it better?
It does make it a lot better.
There's only
It's probably there's only one